What's up, guys? Welcome to the 13th inaugural episode of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's going to take a look at trailer number 2, what seems like weeks later. I'm Ethan. With me is Devin.
Hi. Your Sonic quote for this episode is, "Ugh, I can't with that guy."
See, what you should have done is just say that instead of saying your name or anything, so it sounds like you're talking about me. That quote is from trailer number 2. I'm sure you guys have all seen it already. I know we gave our raw reactions to it last week. This time around, we're going to be taking a more in-depth look, I would say, at the trailer. Mm-hmm. And we're going to just talk everything that we see.
Well, we watched it on a loop last time. We'll probably do that again for the most part during this episode. But instead of giving our opinions in the sense of, hey, Sonic looks really cool here, Dr. Eggman looks really cool here, Jim Carrey is actually bad, or stuff like that. So we're looking more at, like, what do we see in the scene? You know, like, for example, at 000, we see some palm trees in Green Hill Zone, you know, that kind of stuff. And I think from this...
Every 10 milliseconds, we're going to pause and examine the frame.
I think from this, we can kind of guess maybe what more the story's about. I said plot last episode. I meant the story. So I feel like, for example, I think most of this trailer takes place within the first 10 to 15 minutes of this film, I think.
It's really easy when trailers do all these cuts, what seems like to random places, before realizing, oh wait, I think I gathered the entire story right now, or I think I can piece together where these scenes take place. So we're going to try to do that today.
Because I was going to say, you could make the counter argument for this, saying maybe, like, for example, this opening shot could be at the very end. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be when he gets home.
I don't think so, because we see something later on that I think tells us that, hey, this was in the beginning. So we're just going to look at that kind of stuff.
And it makes sense that this would be how you would open the movie.
So do we want to just have it looping again, or are we just going to...
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have the video looping.
Okay. Do you want to start at the same time, so we're looping together?
Sure, and we'll just talk about what we see as we see it. We don't really need to pause the video, I don't think. We'll just talk about, we'll be talking over most of stuff we're not going to be talking about, and then when it turns all the way back around, we'll be able to continue on, so.
All right, we got our boy Sonic, he doing the loop there.
Yes.
So yeah, I think right here tells us, right when he goes through that little ring portal, I think it tells us that looks like the beginning of the film. Because then he also says...
Yeah, I think that's the first time he comes.
I'm not listening to it with audio, so I think... Doesn't he say something like, they wanted my powers back home, so I came here instead. And then I think all this you see him messing around with, like at the baseball field and stuff, I think all this is going to be within the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's all him being like, oh, it's a brand new world. What's going on? Everything is so different.
And he's
and
he's kind of a douche. So he thinks he can, like, just do whatever he wants. It's interesting that he understands the concept of baseball, by the way.
I was gonna say that, like, when we see his version of the Sonic world in the movie trailer, it doesn't look like there's any, like, stuff. There's no settlements, no nothing. So he has a concept of baseball, and
unless he's visited Earth before, and he's
who knows? It could have been much later, but
then so now we're with
he could be 40 years old.
So now we're with Cyclops here, and I think that part, like for example, I think that's maybe further in. Maybe we're within 30 minutes now. I think because the Jim Carrey scene where he comes in to investigate Cyclops' home, I think that might be around 20 minutes. So I think I'm getting from this is, okay, Sonic's in his world. They didn't show anything of why they want his powers and who wants his powers in that world. So maybe they'll show that more.
Because, it would only ever be Eggman. And if Eggman or Dr. Robotnik, I guess, if he's from Earth, he's not from Sonic's place. So who would be going after him? It might just be a throwaway line just to be like, hey, this is the exposition of, hey, he is, like, valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has dangerous energy or whatever.
And so I think, okay, so maybe within the first 10 minutes, maybe they explain why he's leaving Green Hill Zone land. So he goes to Earth, and I think he messes around. Maybe there's some music playing or whatever, and then eventually he turns off the power across the entire United States, killing tens of thousands of people.
But I mean, right?
And then the military, finds him, and they get Eggman to track him down because he's the smartest man on Earth or something like that. And they track him down to the home of Cyclops, because I think he was in his garage, right? Cyclops.
He says, "What are you doing in my garage?"
Yeah,
I think
he probably heard something. Goes out there, and I think this movie will be really quick.
I think so. It looped back around, and it's showing him playing what looks like, I imagine, in a garage.
Yeah,
I wonder if this is a super montage or this is just like an afternoon. You know what I mean? He gets to...
It does show night here. Yeah, it does show night here. So maybe he... And then it's morning in the garage, it looks like.
So I think he basically...
Turns off the power overnight, and then he maybe sleeps in Cyclops' garage for the night. I don't know. He crashes there for some reason. Maybe it rains and he doesn't want to sleep outside, so he goes inside the garage. I don't know.
Well, I think that whole montage of him playing ping pong and with the nunchucks, I think that's in his garage. Yeah. I think that's where he just goes. He sees all this stuff. He's playing with it all. Maybe he goes out and does the baseball thing and comes back after the power goes out. But
and where does Jim Carrey get a piece of Sonic's hair? Maybe they go to the baseball field or whatever and they find a piece of his hair. Maybe.
I think it was from the first trailer. It showed him picking up the hair, what seems like for the first time. So maybe either he didn't find it, or right now we just seen him examining a footprint.
Maybe it's footprints later on when, unless that's Sonic's footprint, we can't really tell. Either his footprint or Cyclops' footprints. Maybe he's tracking him down later. Yeah. I don't know. But now the more that I'm watching this, the more I'm thinking like the latest that this film or this trailer shows in the film, I think is 45 minutes, within 45 minutes of the film.
Really?
So maybe the pyramid scene, I know there's a quick flash of them running in the desert. Maybe that's like towards the end of the film.
See, I think we'll see it, I think pretty soon right now in the trailer. There's a scene where Sonic is all glowing blue and he's standing in front of Eggman in like the ship in the city. I think that's the climax. I think the ending takes place there.
You think
I think that's where the final battle is. Maybe right after it ends up back in Sonic's world or something. Like right now, right there.
Yeah.
I think that's the climax. Who knows? Or at least that's very late on because he's all glowing blue. Maybe he unlocked his true potential. Okay. You know, he
but then they show him in
friends.
China and stuff. And that's really... Yeah. That's like much farther than... Because wasn't it in like Texas or something? Where...
At San Francisco, right?
San Francisco,
or Nevada.
Or something like that, yeah.
Wherever.
But still, that not in the continent of Asia.
Right.
So maybe that's not till the end. That's why it makes me think that the pyramids are close to the end because maybe he fights. They like have a huge battle in the city.
That might not even be in Sonic's world. That could be in Egypt, I guess. But they did show at the end of the first trailer mushrooms, and so I think that was Sonic's world.
I think maybe Sonic's world. Now I keep going back and forth now of like what is the ending. It might not be any of these things, but we're trying to guess from the trailer here. Maybe the mushroom world that we saw in the first trailer that is now deleted, by the way. So who knows? Maybe they changed the ending. Probably not, but maybe they did. Both of us have always had the theory that Robotnik will become Eggman towards the end of the film. Because isn't he bald at one point in the end of the first trailer?
At the end of the first trailer, he's bald. His mustache looks like frayed. You know,
and I think that wasn't that in Mushroom World?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Mushroom Hill Zone, at least I think.
So maybe that's where it gets close to the end, is where like Sonic really just does some damage on Jim.
And I don't think that they really cut any scenes. The report, or the rumor rather, is that they only added about $5 million to the budget to do the reanimation.
That's probably the biggest news we've had since last week.
I know initially it was going around that it was $35 million, but then some people are going back saying, no, it's only $5 million, about $5 million. So I don't really think that they did many changes. I think that all went into reanimating Sonic. I think that really went just into paying the salaries of the animators to keep working on it for another 6 months or whatever. Here's money for we should have done what you said in the first place.
Oh, this scene is scary, by the way.
I mean, right?
He's throwing like...
But at the speed that he's throwing those darts...
They're not... Yeah, the darts aren't necessarily lethal, unless you like maybe hit someone in the eye or something like that. But like he's throwing them at a speed where I'm like, wouldn't that like cut through most things? Or I don't know.
I mean, it can puncture cork pretty easily.
I don't know how physics work. That girl should be dead.
She should be dead. And they just smile and walk away. I think scenes like that are probably within the first 45 minutes or whatever. That's when they're actually on the run. That's when we're going to have like the most fun with like, oh, how does a hotel room work? How does this work? How does that work? Do we know how long this movie is? I don't think they've announced a runtime, right?
Can't be more than 2 hours, right?
I think it's going to be less. I think it's going to be like
an hour
45.
Yeah.
An hour 30 maybe, 90 minutes. I don't know.
Sonic's fast. He doesn't have that time to be
He's got places to go.
He got sequels to shoot.
Yeah. Trailer just looped back over again. Let's see what next we see.
All right, yeah. So we got Flash, haha. Alternatively, let's pretend that I don't think there's any way that this whole section here isn't in the beginning of the film. But what if this is actually later, and maybe we are introduced more to Cyclops' character, maybe in the beginning first, like his day job.
Oh, yeah, because we do have to introduce
he's a
that
sheriff,
guy.
right? I thought.
My thinking is we're going to start with Sonic. He is the main character. They're going to show him going to our world.
It'd be bad advertising if the beginning is like
it starts with
15 minutes of just
a shaven Walker Texas Ranger type person.
And he's like, or he has like one call when he's in his cop car, and he gets one call. It's like, the cat's stuck in the tree again. He's like,
I think we're going to see that before we see Sonic messing around in his garage. And then he's going to be like, what the hell is that noise? And he's going to look in his garage and see Sonic. And then I think while they're arguing, Eggman is going to track Sonic to his house. He's going to have been there for a while, so I think that makes sense. Then in that, we hear Sonic is saying they're going to use my powers or whatever, you got to save me or whatever. And then I think Robotnik's going to come in and he's going to just make the decision, I'm going to help Sonic. And they're going to be on the run. But what's going to force them to leave?
It'd be a little... I think it has to be Eggman, right?
Oh, right, because Sonic says, he jumps out and says, stop, don't hurt him. So he already knows that they're together. So yeah, that's right.
I still can't get over that scene, man.
Notice all the beer bottles and cans, they have no labels.
By the way, no one cares that an anamorphic blue creature walked outside that bar. Like, there's a crowd of people outside that bar, and everyone was just kind of just like chilling outside. Like,
right.
I want people to be like looking back, being like, "What did I just see? What is that thing?
Right?
Was that human? Was it an alien?"
And also, they left a tray of drinks on the car, and they're just going to drive away on the hood.
Okay, it looks like they have a hotel at some point. Oh, and by the way, we don't see much of her. We saw her more in the first...
the veterinarian?
Yeah, we saw her for a brief second there. I think that's the only shot of her in this entire trailer. Maybe tells us that she isn't that big of a character in this. Maybe she just has a...
Yeah, she's definitely not on the road trip with them.
She's in it for 25 minutes.
I think that's probably early on more exposition about how dangerous Sonic could be.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember stuff from the first trailer, and I remember we had that scene where he sneaks him in with a
duffel bag.
Duffel bag. And maybe he's bringing him to her. Maybe he gets injured.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets a cut wound. A laceration.
Yeah. He has a cavity.
I don't know. He has a... Dr. Eggman gave him a cavity.
Yep. It's part of his evil plan.
Because we got to think, why would they go to the vet?
Yeah, because it's not like he's going to be like, I don't know what this thing is. Sonic's going to know what he is. So that's not why.
Maybe he says I'm a hedgehog, and he's like, no, you're not. And there's some gimmick with him proving him that he is a hedgehog.
Maybe Sonic isn't quite sure what the energy thing is about him or something. They need to look at that.
Yeah. So now I'm trying, like, now that we're thinking back about the first trailer, I guess it kind of changes this a little bit for me now that I'm rewatching it, where I'm like, where does the veterinarian come in place? Because it looks like they're
maybe that's where they're
chasing
going
him down the entire film.
Because he Dr. Eggman
her?
in the beginning of the trailer called John Marston, Cyclops / whatever this character's name is, my rural chum. He calls him chum, rural chum. So I don't think they're close to the city that the veterinarian hospital or whatever takes place. So maybe a lot of these car scenes we're seeing is them going to the vet that he knows. Yeah, and in San Francisco or whatever. That's where they're going. And then maybe they end up having to go somewhere else. Here's the bar scene again.
This is a little bit of a stretch, but maybe Sonic ran out of rings and he wants to go home or something. And maybe she knows someone, or she has the ability to make the rings for him, or he could tell her how to make the rings, like what he needs.
Yeah, we might be looking at it like too much into the whole vet stuff. Like, it might have nothing to do with she just might be a friend of him. You know what I mean?
Maybe she owns a boat or something. They can go on a boat. But Sonic can run fast. But I guess that the whole point was that he's more worried about Cyclops getting hurt.
And Cyclops can help him with something that he needs, I'm sure.
But that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it is something with the rings.
Also, we're looking back at the China scene again. We just watch him right now throw a ring. That's how he got there. He didn't go all the way to Asia.
Good call.
Just realized that last time we looped around. So, but that's the thing too. Like, how does that work?
Wait, there's a dog. Dogs go to the vet.
Yeah.
Maybe the dog has to go to the vet. I don't know.
I don't know. That might be a stretch because we didn't see the dog in the first trailer. But like, how do these portals work? Is it random? Does he need to know where he's going? Because
does he think about it?
Why can't he and Cyclops just walk through the portal to where they need to go? Is it really limited? You know what I mean?
Maybe it is random because he was on the run, I guess, in his world, and he threw it, and all of a sudden he's here. And maybe he only had one ring to rule them all, one ring to go anywhere else, and he just wind up on Earth. And then he's like, "Oh, this is great." Messes around, turns off the power.
I think he has a bunch. I think he has a little satchel of them.
Does he have anything?
Because in the scene where he's running on the Great Wall of China, he has a strap around himself that I think there's a bag on his back.
Yeah,
and in
he
the
doesn't have that
and
in
in
the
the
beginning.
meow scene when he comes in and he screams, he's holding a ring in one hand and he looks like he's holding like a leather pouch in the other. So I think he has a bunch of them. Maybe he keeps them in his shoe. Maybe he gets more. Maybe when he entered Earth, he dropped it or something, and it's somewhere else, and they needed to go get it. I don't know. I think that they're limited, and I think they want to conserve them. So maybe that's why that they're not just like, hey, we'll just use the portals.
There's got to be some sense of control with them, though, because if it was just random, why wouldn't he maybe like throw it, and all of a sudden he's on Pluto? You know what I mean?
Just grab Eggman, take him to the moon, and then go back without the Eggman. Then he's dead. Plot solved.
I kind of wish they still had the first trailer up because I'd like to.
Yeah, watch them side by side.
I'm sure it's been re-uploaded.
Guarantee it.
I don't want to dig for it.
So what do you think? Do we think Eggman gets his power at some point? Do we think that, the bad guy wins and then our hero overcomes him anyway or something like that?
You're saying like he captures Sonic and uses his power against him?
Yeah, because like Eggman obviously wants his power.
Sonic, maybe?
He's going to just do bad guy stuff with it. But do we think that there's going to be any actual advancement in the story where he actually does the thing he wants to do? You know what I mean? Or he always just chasing Sonic and he just doesn't get it?
What is this end goal with that? Is it to just run the world?
I don't know. It might not even be that case. It might just be, we know he's a bad guy and he's just going to use dangerous stuff.
I like the character arc that we talked about where he just goes more and more insane as the movie progresses. So maybe like at first he's like, yeah, I want this power to use for my technology. And then it turns into like, so then I can rule the world and become a dictator.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very classical scientist going down a wrong path, but has to anyway because of science, Of course, I don't think he's going to have any moral conundrums over it. But I think he's going to be doing it just because, I want to know what it is, blah, 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 blah. And, he's eccentric and kooky, so it's going to hide some of that. And I think as we go on and he goes more crazy, it is just going to be like, I just want to rule the world. I want to blow everything up. I know in quite a few of the Sonic games, the plot usually ends with Eggman really wants like a theme park or a city about himself. I don't really think we'll see that in this movie. Maybe that'll be a sequel if they do any.
Maybe he wants to compete with Tesla.
Yeah, he'll have his own low polygon N64 truck as well. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. That'd be cool, though. Maybe if they did that, they're like, yeah, this whole time he's just competing with Tesla. And like he's like, this is the power that can put me on top. Imagine cars that can get there in 2 seconds.
He's just an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's just an entrepreneur who's also an evil
So
scientist.
basically, if I understand what we've talked about correctly so far, the plot, Sonic leaves his place, his world, comes to ours, messes around, makes an accident. Eggman is investigating him on behalf of the government or whatever. Eggman is aware that John Marston and Sonic are in cahoots. You know what I mean? He's chasing after them. They're on the run. We think that they go to the vet place. They do some exposition-y science stuff. They need to go somewhere else. Eggman is still chasing them. And then they end up somewhere in some climax that might involve multiple portals. I think that this right now we're seeing where they're flying through the city. I think that's part of the climax. Because once you start blowing stuff up, the world starts paying attention and it makes it harder for the chase to continue, I think. Because so far this chase has been pretty incognito on both ends. The climax is happening involving multiple portals, and I think that Eggman ends up in Sonic's world. And I think throughout the whole thing he gets more and more Eggman-y, more crazy. Do I have it correctly?
Yeah, I think.
Is that what you think?
I think we hit the nail on the head. And I wouldn't be like and I don't think it's too hard to determine from this. Do you hope we're wrong, or are you okay with?
Nah, I think that's fine. I mean, what I really want is something completely different than this entire movie premise. Personally, this is very much a Hollywood of like, we'll just take the cartoon character, put him in the real world, and the hijinks will happen. As instead of like.
Yeah. Like
Thor. Most of this movie has nothing to do with Sonic. You know what I mean? Like the whole where he is, what's going on. It's nothing to do with Sonic. Sonic's just in there, and he's driving the plot forward, but it's not about him and his world. So, I mean, personally, I'd rather that happen. But as far as what we're seeing, I think that this is fine. It's a kid's movie. You can't make it too convoluted. That's how you end up with the Star Wars prequels.
I want a very deep plot about how Eggman went from being such a positive role model in his society to a negative. We both want the Joker. Do we want the Joker movie with Knuckles? Right? That was Shadow. That's Shadow.
Yes. Yes.
Do we want a Joker? I mean, Eggman standalone film?
No, I don't think we'll get very much backstory. I think we'll be literally introduced to him as like he is this private weapons manufacturer scientist, company dude or whatever, and the government's hiring him, and he's kooky. I think that's literally all we're going to see about him. I think it's going to end with him more, I'm going to rule the world kind of a thing.
Do you think he'll be in jail at the end?
No. I think they're not going to do that. I think they're going to set it up for a sequel in one of those ways where it's like, hey, maybe Eggman is trapped. He goes through a portal, he's trapped somewhere, and that's as good as dead to us, the main characters, so therefore everything's resolved. I think that's how they'll do it. So there's a chance he can come back. That's probably going to be obvious to people watching.
It's not a guarantee for a sequel, but
right, they can end it now,
open enough,
but they can bring him back. And what do we think the sequel would be about? I mean, maybe that's another episode.
Well, we gotta see how. Well, that's the thing is I think it's an episode that we'd have to do after the movie comes out, being like, is it possible to do a sequel with this? And if so, what would we want?
At the very case, I do think that this movie is not going to have any of Sonic's other friends. Last week, I mentioned that at the beginning of the trailer.
I feel like they would have shown something to build hype for the Sonic fans. Because, if they showed Knuckles, I feel like the average person is going to be like, who's that?
But if they show Tails, I don't know. But
maybe a little bit more people would recognize him. But generally speaking, that's not going to hype up. This trailer, I feel like, is generally a good mix of, hey, Sonic fans, here's some cool parts about Sonic that you love. And there's other parts of this that are just here's some comedy that the average person might enjoy.
Here's some Jim Carrey, which I have thoughts about, but for the most part, I think it's going to pay off for the film.
I hope so.
Like I said at the beginning of this trailer, last week, I said that Sonic mentions that, he left and he's living his best life on Earth. He wouldn't say that if he left people behind that he cares about. So I don't think he has any friends, which is weird. Or maybe maybe he's just a jerk. That's also possible.
He doesn't look at them as friends. He doesn't think about them.
Maybe they're all just acquaintances, but yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, that's a little ring. Okay.
Yeah, he throws them and they get bigger. I think they show that in the trailer enough times that I think that's obvious.
I appreciate the drones.
I would love if Cyclops does a Cyclops thing. Which isn't gonna happen.
That would be funny. That somehow he finds they sneak into Dr. Eggman's let's say he has a secret laboratory or something. They go in it and he finds some sort of contraption that he could put to his head that shoots lasers, and he's like, I don't think we'll need these or something, and then walks away. That'd be funny. That would be funny.
I don't think that's a level of commentary that they're gonna do though. I don't know. I think that there's a bunch of things that they would do before that,
Oh, yeah, for sure. That'd probably be
and I think one of those things is he's going to call him Knuckles when he punches him.
I was just saying, the two people in the audience who remember the first X-Men movie will be like, oh!
I remember he had awful glasses that entire trilogy, and he died like a loser.
Well, the thing is, no offense to Marston here, but if you didn't tell me that was Cyclops, I probably wouldn't have known.
I think
it wasn't until I looked it up and I'm like, oh, James
his
Marston,
facial structure looks different than what I remember, but it's been 15
older.
years.
Yeah.
So.
And he was wearing a thing on his eyes. That part of his face is just gone.
Yeah. I wonder how many of Robotnik's toys are we going to see in this movie?
I mean, we see a lot, actually, I feel like, in this trailer. We have that floating helicopter,
little tiny thing.
Yeah, we see some drones.
I think his main carrier that they show on Egypt and the Great Wall of China, I think that's Eggman's main ship thing.
I want what was it? I don't remember which game it was in, but basically the Iron Hulk kind of thing where it's just a giant robot version, humanoid Hulk thing. Yeah. I would like that. Maybe that'd be cool.
Maybe that's the thing. Like, do we think that's something that the Robotnik at the beginning of this movie would make, or the potential crazier Eggman at the end of this movie?
I think it's something crazier.
You know? So maybe that's a sequel thing.
But I don't think we'll get anything like that. I don't think. I think they're going to play it safe. I think he's going to have that hovercraft helicopter thing most of the film. I think that'll probably
because in all the original games, Eggman always leaves a boss fight in like a egg carrier, little tiny personal flying machine.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously an homage to that. There's obviously a bunch of little tiny hints and stuff. You know, he's playing ping pong on a sign that says Hilltop Zone. That's a level. His headband when he's doing the nunchucks is like the title screen Sonic Wings.
People have done a lot of...
Yeah, we need to go through that. I'm sure there's going to be even more of these little tiny Easter eggs that we can spend thousands of episodes on after the movie comes out. We'll release our own Blu-ray. That's our commentary.
Oh, illegally, of course.
Yeah. Once again, Sonic stole all those rubber bands. He stole.
He probably doesn't have cash on him.
No.
American dollars.
Venmo.
He uses Venmo.
Yeah. So it is interesting. What they decided for the plot for the story is that Sonic's speed and all that comes from an energy that's in his hair or something. That at least emanates from his quills, hair. What does a hedgehog have? Does it have quills?
Quills? I think it's
quills. But he's like very furry. I don't know.
Well, he's also not... It doesn't look anything like an actual hedgehog
really?
in real life. Let's be real.
Are you sure?
No.
Huh. I'm just glad he's wearing gloves again. Remember when his hands were just white?
Yeah. Little paws.
Ugh, it's disgusting. And they were tiny. They were tiny. He just said, do you have car insurance, right? He has concepts about this place that he hasn't been to.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if he's already been here before. Or maybe he was created on Earth.
I wonder if the joke is going to be that the whole montage of him playing around is going to be like an afternoon, maybe even as a joke, like a single hour, and he's experiencing so much, but he's so fast, you know? Maybe he does
these red books.
Maybe he does like an Avengers Age of Ultron thing where he just goes on the internet and sees everything really fast, you know?
I mean, he read all the Flash. I'm sure there's some context in there about some of human life. So, I mean...
Obviously, this is a movie for children, so a lot of this stuff doesn't need to make any sense. We just need... Cause...
Also, that he would break that washing machine, by the way. You're not supposed to move it. I don't think.
Well, he also took the door off.
But he's just running in circles, and he's probably going like 100 miles per hour in a washing machine.
Why would he even want to use that as a treadmill or a hamster wheel? Wouldn't he have more fun running outside?
I don't know. Yeah, running around a baseball.
Does he need the exercise?
Yeah, we have so many questions.
I think a very underlying theme about Sonic's character in this movie is they're going back to the cartoons that you watched when we did our review of our Sonic cartoons, where he is just really obnoxious. I think that's what's going to happen. So, I don't know. Do you have any other things you see in this movie?
I think we're good. Well, the only thing I was going to say is that he assaults Jim Carrey there. Like, I hope there's more context there instead of just be like, I'm going to punch this man. Why should I trust this blue hedgehog? Like, unless he threatened him being like, hey, if you don't tell me where this is, I'm going to murder your entire family.
You would think, though, that he would bring, like, a gun or something.
Or unless they're just, once again, we're thinking way too deep, and they're just like...
Kids movie.
He's just like, I need to save Sonic because he good guy.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're watching Eggman dance like an idiot, so...
That's me at the club, dude.
All right, I think this is all we have, right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Hopefully we get a little bit more. I'm hoping for like a TV spot.
Yeah, do you really think
like
we're going to get another actual trailer, or is it just going to be a TV
Probably
spot?
Not.
You know what I mean?
Probably not.
A 30, maybe 45-second thing with mostly the same scenes, with maybe a bit extra seconds added or removed, you know, to the scenes. Maybe a couple of things. Maybe we'll see probably more Jim Carrey, I think, in the trailer than even Sonic, probably.
Maybe we'll get character trailers for each character.
Yeah. Like Star Wars or something.
Yeah.
Or a Marvel movie. I think that's it. I think we understand pretty much the plot. I think it's going to be a simple plot.
Plot in the story, yeah.
Plot, story.
Because they're different.
They are, you know. Maybe actually the whole plot about this movie is that he's going across America. It's disconnected, you know, and he's just got to reconnect everything. And
he's using these rings. They're almost like strands of time.
Right? And, he's just having a real hard time walking in a straight line.
And he meets up with the President of the United States, who happens to be named America or whatever.
Yeah. Her middle name was America. Or no, whatever. Sonic spends most of the time walking in a straight line, falling down.
Yeah, I want to see a Death Stranding mod where it's just you play as Sonic and you just run a million miles an hour.
That would be legit awesome. I would actually
just complete
buy
missions
that.
within like 30 seconds. I need you to do this 2-hour mission. Oh, wait, you're already done? Oh, okay. Here's 1 million likes.
Well, I think this has been episode 13 of the Sonic Movie Show. You could follow us on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. You could follow us personally on Twitter at EthanAbsolutely to find me. You can follow Devin at Cursona YouTube. That is Cursona YouTube. You can find the show on YouTube. You could find it on Apple Podcast and the Google Play Music Store. Just search the Sonic Movie Show. Just search it anywhere. Even on Bing, I'm sure it's going to redirect to us. I'm sure we have the SEO just maximized, You could search like Steve Jobs or Amazon and we're going to be popping up first anyway, I'm sure. Watch the shows in all these places. Let us know if there's other places that you actually listen to podcasts. And, while you're there, give us a 5-star review. Give us a like. You know what I mean? Let the thing just loop on YouTube. Do all of these things. Just rig the system for us.
Tell your grandparents, who are probably not doing anything anyways, to be like, hey, there's this great show called the Sonic Movie Show. You know Sonic the Hedgehog, Grandma?
You've seen me play him.
And they're like, yeah, I love Sonic and all his friends. And you're going to be like, well, here's some more friends that you could be listening to.
Actually, you haven't seen Espio the Chameleon, and actually...
Yeah, so pop the earphones into your grandma's ear.
Tell your friends. And if you hate the show, keep that to yourself. All right. All right, next week we'll probably have a regular episode unless we hear more news. All right, bye.
Bye.